Good morning, everybody. My name is Frank. I'm a consultant at Alistair, working for the Modern Workplace applications team. And today we're going to talk about Copilot for Sales. If you have any questions, feel free just to ask me or to put your questions in the chat if you like. So Copilot for Sales. I'm just going to give you the agenda. Who are we? What is Copilot? Show you a day in the life of a salesperson. And we're going to talk a bit about Copilot Studio and our approach concerning how we work with AI in a business environment. Let's start with who is Alistair. What we do. We're like a 365 company saying we do quite a lot in the Microsoft environment. We work for the business applications, we work for e-business, and we also have Modern Workplace. And in between, we work about the topic of business intelligence, digital transformation strategy, and IT advisory. So for us, IT is an important business. We try to connect and talk to all the different players in the IT field and in the business. And we have created like services for all the different parts of a business environment to make sure that their e-business, for example, works proper and fine. We also have specific business applications like CRM, ERP, and Dynamics. That can help you with customer relations and resources planning, for example. Talking about Copilot, what is it? Well, Copilot is a productivity assistant in M365, a smart one, based on ChatGPT and also on Claude, which is a model that comes from Anthropic. Copilot is a powerful digital assistant, boosting your productivity, making your tasks easier. It's integrated in Windows 11, and it provides direct support with all the Microsoft applications. We're talking about generative AI, so that means that Copilot will give you information that is generated by the model based on your input. And your input, of course, are prompts. And these prompts are questions you ask in a dialogue way to Copilot. There's a difference between the app Copilot Chat and the web. Someone entering the room. So if you go to the Copilot Chat, there you have like the normal chat interface, the one that people also recognize from ChatGPT. Working with Copilot Chat is interesting to go from an overall question to a more specific question. It can help you with research. It can help you with analysis. And for working with Copilot Chat, you need the business enterprise license. Within the M365 applications, you also have Copilot integration with that business enterprise license. And there you can actually work directly in documents, let's say Word, PowerPoint, Excel. And there Copilot helps you to, for example, add formulas to your Excel sheet or translate Word documents and so on. And you can actually use Copilot right away in these specific documents. Benefits of Copilot, basically, if you use the license, meaning the full package license, then you can be sure that your company data is protected, meaning that your information does not leave the organization. For the people who are using ChatGPT on a regular basis, if you're not paying for ChatGPT, it will say thank you for everything you basically offer it concerning information, documents, and so on. And it will use these documents to train its own model. So basically with Copilot, that doesn't happen because you're in a protected environment, and Microsoft has promised us not to use data to train the models. Chats and so on are not allowed, or not an allowed domain for the people of Microsoft. So everything you talk about in your chats, your mails, and so on will not be read by any employee of Microsoft. So that is also a security thing that comes with the Copilot license. So basically, if you look at these licenses, you have like the normal Copilot license where you can found the web grounding, the commercial data protection, and the foundational capabilities, meaning you can use the model, you can ask it questions, it will look for answers on the internet, and it will give you a GDPR protection, meaning your personal data will be protected. If you use Copilot for Microsoft 365, you will also have an enterprise data protection, graph grounding, which means that the model, or Copilot in this case, will be able to look at your mails, your chats, your personal documents, and the documents that are shared with you to provide you with information and answers to your questions. And then you have the Microsoft 365 apps like Outlook, like Teams, whatever you need there, Word, Excel, PowerPoint, and so on. They will also have Copilot on board, and you will be able to directly work with Copilot in these specific applications. And then there's also the option to work with Copilot Studio to create your own agents. A small word about prompting. What happens when you send the prompt to Copilot? Well, then Copilot will search for relevant data. It will also send a sort of upgraded prompt version to or ChatGPT or Claude. And then a large language model will reply to Copilot with an answer to your question. Copilot will finally check the access rules, which means that it will check if you have normal access rights to all the content it will provide you with. And if that's the case, then you will get the answer in your screen, in your conversation box with Copilot. If you look at prompting, is there something like an ideal prompt? I don't know. I don't think so. But we have a way of talking to Copilot, which actually helps you get more specific answers from this model. Meaning, you can give it an instruction, for example, write a summary of the text provided, then it already knows it needs to make a summary. If you give it more context, then it will know what is important for you. So this is also an interesting one, saying like the text is an article on the importance of cybersecurity in modern businesses, discussing key strategies for preventing data breaches. So now you give Copilot a bit of context, and it will absolutely take into account the fact that it's about the importance of cybersecurity and that we're discussing key strategies for preventing data breaches. So in your summary, this will return as a main part of what will be written. And then you can also stipulate the output you're expecting. Basically, that the executive summary should be concise, less than 50 words, and it should highlight the key strategies discussed in the text. And then you can basically add the content, the text, to that prompt. Okay, so this is one way of putting it. Another way is also the iterative method, where, for example, you can say, okay, I start with a general question. I check the answer of Copilot. Copilot will also provide me with example prompts at the end of its output, and I can follow these example prompts and go in a conversation with Copilot and see where that brings me, and basically that also gives good results in the end. I have a small poll along the way, so from time to time I will just ask you to have a look at the poll and perhaps answer if you like. So this is just one question. And there you go. So are you able to answer this poll? Can you see it? Yes? Okay.
Yes, I can see
All
it.
right. Okay, top. I'm happy this works. Okay. We will have what?
It was a bit fast. It was a bit fast. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, we'll try again later then. We have other polls to
Okay,
come.
good.
No worries. So this was first poll. We go for another one later on. Back to a day in the life of a sales person, a sales employee, a sales agent. We have like a few steps that I will share with you, a few moments in the day of a life of a salesperson that you probably recognize, and where we can say, okay, this is how we could actually involve Copilot in what we're doing. Let's go to step one. I use Copilot in Outlook to draft a persuasive prospecting email. So basically, I want to make a prospection mail. I start working in Copilot, or I just ask Copilot, can you help me drafting this mail? And what happens, that looks a bit like this. So this is in Dutch, but I will talk you through it. So basically what you see is that...
I cannot see anything.
You cannot see it?
No, I just see the slide, step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And it's not showing the film? Do you all, you can't see it?
For me, it works.
Okay.
Oh, I have to go to the next slide, sorry. Okay.
Can you see it happening? I'll go back so I can talk you through it a little bit. Just a sec.
It's okay. I
I'll
can,
restart.
we're on slide 18, is that correct?
Yes, slide 18,
Yes,
that's the
okay.
one.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so I'll start the movie. It's a little movie in there, and I'll show you. So if you start a new email, you probably recognize it. You can say, okay, I start to draft a concept with Copilot, and you can ask Copilot, like, write me a mail for a potential client in the food business, in which we introduce our CRM software, and we can emphasize on the fact that that software can optimize company processes. And so you give it an instruction, Copilot will start drafting a concept, as you can see, and then in Dutch, it gives you a draft mail. Of course, you can also get them in English and in other languages. It just depends on what kind of input you give. You can also ask Copilot to change, for example, to add paragraphs, to add sentences, or to change the tone of voice, make it shorter, make it longer, make it more formal, and so on. So basically, drafting a mail is not that difficult anymore. The same if you have, for example, a conversation thread with a client or a prospect. You can also use that mail thread to start writing a new mail. You can say, okay, summarize me the mail thread and provide me with a draft mail so I can answer to this prospect. Basically, that's what Copilot does. And you can ask it right away when you start working on a new mail, or if you start with a conversation thread. If you use the online version of Outlook, you will notice that on top of every conversation thread, there is the question of Copilot, can I summarize this thread for you? And if you say yes, go ahead, then you have the starting point for your answer mail. So basically, we now just have written, or we just wrote a draft mail for our prospect. In step 2, well, I have an introductory meeting and I would like to use Copilot on the web to thoroughly prepare myself for this meeting. And then you can just ask Copilot Chat, for example, to help you find information that you can need for example, discovering what's going on in specific sectors or in specific businesses, so you can come prepared to a meeting. Again, small movie. You can use the Copilot Chat page to give you, for example, an idea on the trends that are currently active in a specific business. So Copilot will go on the internet, will find you the answers, will check all the CRM trends for that moment, and you can, for example, put the output right away in a Word document. And with that Word document, you can continue to work. You can, for example, give it to your client as some sort of executive summary of what's happening in the business, or you can use it in OneNote to provide your colleagues or other people that are working in OneNote with the necessary information you have found, and so on. So the film continues. Now we ask Copilot to make a document and put all these ingredients in that document. And you can keep on drafting, adding information, asking new questions, and putting it all together until you have all the information you need. And then at the end, you can, for example, say, make me an agenda for 30 minutes so I can use that agenda during my intake conversation with the prospect. And that's exactly what Copilot will do. It will give you an agenda of 30 minutes with all the topics you can discuss. There you go. All right. So thinking about what's happening in people's businesses, how can I get on top of things? You just use Copilot Chat, ask the question, and you get all the answers. You will also see that if you use Copilot Chat, that there's an agent called Researcher. So if you want to have more profound dossiers or more profound investigations on specific businesses, you can also use the Researcher. It takes a bit longer, but in general, these reports that come out of Researcher are very in-depth and can help you straight away in convincing your client that you know what's happening in the sector. Again, new poll. Let's give it a try. I take the next one. And I'll put it on screen. Oh, that was not good. Was too quick. Is it still active with you guys, the poll?
No.
No?
No.
Okay, I'll try another one. I'll try, okay, this one. Can you tell me if you see it on your screen?
Nothing yet.
Nothing yet. Just a sec. Use this one. Okay. There you go. Now it's on screen. There's the first one. For the people who didn't have the time to answer the first poll, you can still answer it if you like. I will try to. Okay, to switch off the sound. Did you see the first poll? Okay, can we go to the second? This is the second one. What type of AI tools are mainly used in your organization? If you're ready, just let me know. If you, for example, could raise your hand so I know that everybody has filled it in, I can continue. I see all the hands coming up. Thank you. All right. All the hands are coming. Still 3 to go. Thank you. And 5, still 2 to go. All right. Okay. We'll continue with the poll later on. And we now go back to the next slide. So what we have done until now, we've made an email, we have did some market research, sales research, to make sure that our introduction meeting would go nicely. And now I can use Copilot in Teams to summarize my conversation and generate action items. So again, we look at Teams, and we will check what has been said until now about or what has happened in the meeting. So basically, if you have a Teams call, you can just make sure that transcription and recording is on. And if your subscription and recording is on, you can afterwards, after the meeting, you can use Copilot to extract the highlights of that meeting and to help you with analyzing all that has been said and checking out for next steps and to-dos and make sure that everybody can work with that. Okay. Are there any questions? No? Okay. So basically, if you go to your Teams page and you go to the chat section, you will find all the meeting reports when you had transcription on and the transcription on. You will find all the meeting reports in that chat section. If you go to meeting chats, you will find all these summaries of the meetings you had, and you can use Copilot in there to follow up with action points and analysis of the meetings. So you had an intake with your prospects, you had a Teams call, you used Copilot to summarize what has been said during the meeting, and now you can start working on a proposal, for example. And then you can use Copilot in Word to help you draft that proposal. So if you look at the proposal part, you just go to Word and start writing, basically. Ask Copilot. And you can just say like, make me a proposal for this client and use the input I will give you to make that proposal. You can also give some additional instructions. like you can incorporate the implementation cost and the license fees. And you can use the same structure as, for example, the meeting summary that I will provide you with. And you just add content, a document with all the content it needs to the prompt. To add documents to a prompt, you can use a slash, and then you will see all your documents that are available. Or you can use the plus to upload documents into your prompt. And there it comes. Copilot is just preparing a draft of a proposal for you with all the different paragraphs, with the structure you needed. And then you can, when this is done, you can start rewriting it. You can select paragraphs, you can select sentences, and say like, please rewrite me this, make it more formal, make it more informal, put a call to action in the end, always possible. So that kind of stuff can be done right away in Word. You can also add additional content. You can ask Copilot to find some stuff you're missing in your proposal and ask him to add that additional information to your proposal. And in the end, when all's said and done, you can check spelling, grammar, tone of voice before you send this proposal to your client. So basically, drafting a proposal isn't that difficult anymore. You can use your corporate templates if you like, and Copilot will add all the content to these corporate templates. You can also add tables and other forms of information, visuals if you like. This will all happen thanks to the integration of Copilot in Word. Then we have a next step. Let's say you want to prepare a presentation for your pitch, to pitch your proposal to your client. So you can also use Copilot in PowerPoint, meaning that you can start from a PowerPoint template that matches your house style, your branding of your own company, or the company of the client, if you like, and start from there, finding your information through Copilot chats on the internet, using also the documentation information you have in your professional working environment, and putting all these elements together into some sort of structured content. And then you can ask Copilot to take that structured content and make it or put it into a PowerPoint presentation. Today, PowerPoint, the output you get from PowerPoint could vary a little bit. You can ask Copilot to align the visuals, because sometimes, and you will probably see it in this video also, the visuals he creates are not always nicely aligned. But when you get a first draft from Copilot, you can always ask for, okay, this is nice, but can you make it better? Align the visuals, give it more structure, make sure that I can that I have a good story to tell to my client. So check the storyline of the presentation. These are all typical questions you can ask to Copilot, and you will get all the responses you need, and you will come up with a final presentation. Yes? Was it a question or no? Okay. So in the next weeks and months, there will be also a Copilot, a PowerPoint presentation coach available, which means that you can actually do your presentation on screen and let Copilot listen in to your presentation. And after your presentation, Copilot will coach you and help you with making your presentation even better. Fun thing with presentations is also when you ask Copilot to check your presentation and ask him, for example, what kind of questions will my audience ask after this presentation? So Copilot will also give you a list of possible questions that people will ask after the presentation. And so you can come up and prepare with the answers in advance. So that makes it also easier for you to tackle questions afterwards. So all these functionalities, all these possibilities are available thanks to Copilot in PowerPoint. So basically, if you look at the day in the life of a salesperson, all the things you can do, you can rewrite or even just draft texts in Word. You can create tables in Word. You can schedule meetings and summarize email threads. If you use Excel, for example, you can use it to do some data analysis to create charts that you also can use in your PowerPoint presentation. If you use Copilot, basically use it like Google, or for the people who are used to work with ChatGPT, use it like you use ChatGPT, or talk to it like a colleague. My main message these days, if you're prompting, you can actually talk to Copilot, and if you talk like to Copilot as if it were your colleague, that's the best way to move forward. If it does something wrong, just tell it was wrong and tell it how to improve the output. If it focuses on the wrong things, then you should say, okay, focus more on that and that. And Copilot will start focusing on the elements you provide, and so on and so on. You can also use Copilot to summarize meetings, summarize group chats, and list action items. It will also provide you with to-dos, action points, and so on, decisions to be taken in meetings. It can help you combine all the information from different types of sources to make sure that your agenda as a sales guy or girl are in place. And finally, you can summarize all the content you have found and put it in a presentation. Copilot can add slides, apply company branding, and make sure that your presentation and your pitch will become a success. If you open Copilot Chat, you will see that there's a huge gallery of prompts available, all possible things you can do with Copilot, all possible questions you can ask to Copilot. You can also save your own prompts, the ones that worked for you. You can save them so you can make sure that you can use them later on again. Although the answers will not always be the same, but the prompt will be nice and you will have the output that you will need. And that's the 10, for example, the 10 prompts to try first is recap a meeting, summarize an email thread, draft an email, summarize a document, tell me about the topic or project, give me some ideas, help me write stuff. And in Teams, for example, what did they say during this meeting? Revise content, translate the message. Also for translations, within Word, you can translate text right away within your document. So if you say, okay, I want this paragraph translated, it happens on the fly. Another poll. I will restart the one I had running. Okay. So I'll start with question 3. I will skip the 2 other ones, and this is the one we need right now. So if you would like to have a look at it and fill in the blanks. And if you are done with this page, let me know. So I can also show you the last poll we have. We have 4 questions during this session. So I will give you the 4th question also right away. And then we have the whole poll delivered. So is everybody done with this one? Can we go to the next poll? Then I'll give you the next question. And if that's all done, you can submit the poll and make sure we will get the results. So thanks for that. And I'll continue with my presentation. Okay. So a few things about Copilot Studio. With Copilot Studio, you can build your own agents. For example, you can build chatbots, but these days we're also talking about building agents, and agents are there to, for example, automate some basic processes within your organization. So the chatbots are the ones that are just giving you texts in return for the questions you ask. For example, if you say, okay, we want to make an HR chatbot or an ERP chatbot, you can basically make that chatbot, feed it with all the information it needs to answer to questions of other people. And once it is properly formatted and trained and it has all the information available, you can start asking questions to your chatbot, and the chatbot will reply in a correct way, taking into account all the documentation that it has been fed. For the agents, if you have some sort of basic enterprise processes that you want to automate, you can also use agents that will help you do the job. And that's thanks to Copilot Studio, where we have specific courses for if you're interested. You can also extend Copilot to other sources, for example, connected with other external data sources, integrated with Power Automate, helping you automate processes again, and expand with additional scenarios. So, for example, you can use your Copilot to request customer data details and statuses. The approach of Alistair for any Microsoft 365 implementation, we basically start with a pilot team for any Copilot implementation to gain hands-on experience, learn from each other, what works and what doesn't. We also explore the use cases, because within every company and within every department, you have different use cases, and you have different ways that you can integrate Copilot into your daily job. So basically, we're going to figure out what works for you, and we do that with a sufficiently large and diverse pilot group. Then we check, we do a Copilot readiness assessment and gain insights into how secure your environment is for using Copilot. Then we just, based on the insights from the readiness assessment, we create a plan to prepare your environment for a larger group of Copilot users. And we provide, of course, the necessary training during the adoption phase. We make sure that employees are guided through the whole Copilot introduction session part. And we teach which scenarios and value to their job and how to prompt efficiently how that works and what they should know before using Copilot. And then we have the rollout. We have people then ready to use Copilot for Microsoft 365, and in a way that people know the risks, but also know the advantages of using Copilot in sales, in HR, in marketing, in IT, and so on. We have done the polls. We also have a bit of an offering for you. We have a promotion valid until the 31st of May. So that's another 3 weeks. You can just scan the code on the screen if you want a serious discount on your Copilot licenses, the business for the smaller enterprises, and the Microsoft 365 for the bigger companies. We will have a discount available. If you like, you can just scan the QR code, fill in the questions, and then you will receive a code to get a discount. So that's this part. If you have any more questions, please let me know. Any more questions? Was this clear? If there's anything we can help you with, these guys are always available for more information about Alistair, about our 365 business approach, and about the Copilot in the modern workplace environment. If you have, or if you need more information, check with Aldo or Anthony, and they will gladly give you more information. So that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed the presentation, and I'll see you another time, hopefully very soon.